We'll go around the horn here and say hello. A couple of dear
Uh,
friends. Hey, Chris. Hey, Rich. It's good to see you guys. Let's just, have a conversation. This Nick's first time to be on here with me. We've met before, but he was on last week and I wasn't able to be here. He's in residential looking at coming into commercial. There's a couple things you said in that conversation just now that I would ask you questions about. And since Rich is on the phone, he probably would have a couple questions for you too. So maybe we can have a brief conversation just between us. Prior to that, Chris, won't you give me an update as to what you're working on, what's new, what's next, where do you need some help? It's been a minute since we've talked, so why don't you take the floor?
Hey, Eric,
By the way, introduce where you're at, so Nick knows who you are and what you do.
all right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Hey, Nick, nice to meet you. Rich, nice to see you again. Eric, as always, just figured I'd jump in. Nick, I run a network across the country, so I have about 600,000 members, all over the United States, and then extending into other countries as well. So I essentially became an agent just to join EXP. I'm here not to sell. I'm here to, essentially possibly do referrals and grow a team internationally. So my focus is on like building a downline. Eric, he's in my upline. As long as, with a few other guys, I'm not sure if I mentioned James Hong, Jim, Tom Trong, those guys, in case you know them.
I
But
know Tom. Yep.
yeah, what state are you in?
I'm in Boston, Mass.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was up there last year for the build event. So I'll be up there
Oh,
again
cool.
this year for the build event that
I'll
Tom
see you up here when
runs.
you come up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if Eric's going to be up there or Rich will be up there, but I'll be there. Happy to hang out. But as far as me, I'm not looking for anything particular. I'm just here networking, seeing how I can add value and how I can help. But if you ever need somebody that has connections in a lot of different states, I'm always here to
Good
make
to know. Good to
yeah.
know. Yeah,
How's the sign business?
I'll get your information. I like that. I like that. There's another guy that I know, Jason Jordan, is in Germany. He does the same thing.
Okay.
He's got a international. I mean, do you know Jason?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I'll hook him up with you. He doesn't sell anything, but he's got a big following behind him. He speaks at the international conference coming up in Paris, which I'm on the fence about going. I've got a lot of things going on here, so I probably won't make it out there. I was trying to do the same thing internationally, um, bringing in people from different countries, and I was in the middle of trying to do that in Greece when EXP pulled the plug and they decided not to do business in Greece anymore. And I had someone good to go, but yeah, stuff happens. You can't win them all, but you got to try. You know,
Sure.
yeah.
What was it Michael Jordan said you miss every shot you don't take
There you
or
go.
something
There you
along
go.
that?
Yeah,
So
I like that
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I take a lot of swings. I miss all the time, but I keep it up.
Responsibility. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm here just to be a resource and listen and learn.
Now, where are you located at?
I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
So, Eric mentioned something else. I also own a separate company that has nothing to do with what you guys are doing. I own a company. My background's I was a developer of billboards, the structures. So I put up over 100 structures between, St. Louis and Chicago. I would go in, I would pick the locations, I'd negotiate all the leases, I'd secure all the permits, and then I had salesmen that would sell the advertising for me. They would sell the advertising off mock layouts that weren't built yet. So then once I got the permits, we would come in with semis and install 3 or 4 of these structures over a weekend. So Friday night, people go home from work. There was no billboards in the area. All of a sudden, Monday morning, they wake up. There's 3 or 4 of them. They were erected. They had ads on them, and those were already being sold to investors or other billboard companies. So I did that between St. Louis and Chicago. And then I switched to what's more considered like an on-premise sign. So I work with a lot of gyms and restaurants, bars. And when they open up in these big strip centers, I do the big signs for them. I also work with a lot of developers when they build like strip centers or industrial parks. I do the big signs out by the highways for them. So that's a separate company that I run, besides being part of EXP.
Awesome.
So
That sounds good. I like that.
thanks. So
Nick, Rich Enderlin is out in Los Angeles. Rich, I think you might have heard some of what Nick was sharing with us when he got started. What are some, as you were hearing him talk, what are some pitfalls you've seen residential agents make as they're considering commercial and maybe trying to dive into it? Or maybe just, you and I we're old goats. We got less hair, or a little gray, or a little older, been there, done that.
Hey,
So
speak for yourself, old man.
yeah, right, right. Yeah. So, one old goat to the other, what can we share to Nick, you and me, that might help him avoid some pitfalls? There's a couple things came to mind that I'd like to share.
Sure.
To me, Nick, the one thing that, and I'm a mentor that's has long since retired. I don't know if I would have half the knowledge I have if I didn't have that foundation. The nuances of are so very different than residential.
Yeah.
You really need to have someone who knows what they're doing. And I mean, with when I was starting out as a rookie 30 some odd years ago, I mean, I just glommed on to my senior. I was just, I grabbed his leg, held on tight, and never left because I just wanted to hang on every single word until I understood that the whole vernacular, the way things were negotiated, how you went about doing it. Because without actually knowing, you can't, this is not something that can be self-taught. You have to have someone teach you. It's a true science, and unfortunately, it's over what I've seen over the last 30 years is a lot of people are not paying their dues to get properly trained and properly understanding how to do this business because it's just done very poorly, especially with technology. My fear for the younger generation is their reliance on technology and not actually learn how to underwrite a property. It's so vitally important to understand exactly how this business works. So my best advice I could ever possibly give to you is find out, and there's plenty of folks in Boston. It's a great town, it's a big town. Find folks who have a lot of experience and are willing to share their knowledge with you so that you can go step by step by step. Because if I didn't have that, the first six, seven, eight deals that I did with my senior, I would have never had the foundation to then go out on my own and then develop my own experiences. So that's the best advice I could give, honestly.
I like that. I hit the nail on the head. I have someone that I'm utilizing, but I don't think they're the right person right now.
And then lies the rub. And for whatever it's worth, the very first person I had as a mentor actually remains a friend to this day, but I blew out of it after a month or two. I said, we don't clicking. It's not working for me.
Yeah.
And I went to the manager and I said, look, he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not, it's not what I expected or what I want. It's not working. So it's a wife. I dated a lot of girls, but I only married one.
You're right. You got to find the right one.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
takes time because there's a lot of personality and some guys are get what they do, but they're terrible teachers. The sales managers are the worst, are the best salespeople.
I'm already leaning to what you said already because I've had a couple of conversations with people up here in Boston, and one of them I think we can probably do something with. It seems like we're clicking, so we're gonna have another conversation this week and maybe work with each other. You know.
And the best thing you can do, because look, you're not a kid. So the
No.
best thing you do is just be as transparent as, look, here's what I need. Here's what I'm looking for. What is it that you need me to do? And with my mentor, it was like, look, you keep your nose to the ground. You pound, you better be attached to your ear. You better talk to as many people as you can. If you got questions, come into my office and ask. And believe me, I was in his office 20 times a day, just asking questions. And that's how I learned. Now, granted, I'm an old school guy, and that's the way I learned. We've got podcasts and we've got, online stuff and there's education courses, there's all kinds of things. And I know the younger generation learns differently than the way I learned. You just got to figure out for you what works for you. Do you learn on podcasts? If that is, they should be on a podcast every single night. My first 2 years, I went to every event, I went to every networking, I went to every educational course, and we had a lot of them. So I could pretty much go every day until I learned everything I needed to learn. And it's the foundation that you have, and then you just grow from there.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mercedes, I'll kind of set the table for you for the conversation. Nick Fondas up in Boston is looking to get more involved in commercial, and he's evaluating before he takes next steps. So here we are from Boston to Los Angeles to Florida, middle of the country with Chris and me in Atlanta. One of the things I would share with you, Nick, but before you start spending time and energy on a piece of property, talking about what you think the price might be and of the property, I think it's wise to ask the right questions about the property first. Do an evaluation. Is this where you want to spend some time? Just hearing some things real quick. It's been sitting for 10 years. That's a concern. And so,
Wow.
and you need to get an evaluation
Yeah.
Not an
Yeah.
appraisal, but an evaluation. There's a difference. I often hear somebody say, "Well, we want to get an appraisal." That's great, but I don't sell based upon evaluations. I don't sell based upon appraisals. I'll sell based upon evaluation, what the market will bring. And those are going to be two different things. So some things to consider before you start spending a lot of time, because time is your resource, right? And that resource is what gets you to closings and transactions that pay you. So you want to spend your time wisely. Um, Mercedes, maybe share a little bit about what you're looking for right now, and or if you've had a friend who was in residential and looking to come into commercial, what's maybe a golden nugget you might share with Nick?
To speak with people that are in commercial and see what type of insights you can get. Do you know a commercial, like the EXP community where you are in Boston? Do you know
Yeah.
anyone?
Yeah. I have a couple people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So just initiate conversations with them.
EXP and non-EXP, you know.
Mhm. Oh, okay. So you do conversations with them.
Yeah. My wife is a commercial agent. When I growing up, that's what he did. And he his brother, my uncle, who's still a commercial agent, is still doing it. So my name is pretty well known in the commercial business. As a matter of fact, Eric, also, I had a phone call come in. Guy that knows me, you still, sends me a message. You still doing real estate? I said, yeah. He goes, I want to sell my restaurant, Greek restaurant in Boston. That's doing like around more than 20 grand a week, and I'm getting the financials from him, and probably gonna, work. I forgot to tell you about. So I have a lot of commercial things that are like lingering that I'm trying to pull together and make money out of. You follow me?
Well, one thing that has worked for me,
Yeah.
that I tend to look at it like, I do it for fun, is to call owners to give them, to share information about either some tax, you know, uh, update that's happening in their area. Or so I typically, or if I'm trying to get into, a certain, I do national sales and transactions. So when I'm trying to get into a specific like pocket, I'll just call the owners, letting them know of something that's happening in their town that some of them might know, but a good amount won't. And then that initiates good conversation typically. Or I'll let them know about, if they own a Burger King, I'll let them know about another Burger King, that's on the market. And if they knew about that. So typically I call people. I like to focus on sellers. Buyers will take you all around the world.
Yeah.
So I typically but I like to call sellers to share something with them, not so much to ask them if they want to sell. And then, information leads to, especially if there's synergy, we will lead you to that conversation. So that's
Gotcha.
my advice, to call people and to share information that you might think is just logical for them to know, but a lot of people are not informed.
Gotcha.
Chris, I got a question for you. A little segue here. Have you thought about opening some chapters that are just geared toward commercial?
Talking about me?
Yeah.
When you say, oh, you're talking about of my groups across the country?
Yes, sir.
I do have one that's focused on commercial. So I'll have to send you a link to that. I have like 30 groups. I probably added like 3 more last week. The idea is to have one in every single state and then start hitting every single country that we're working in. But I do have a commercial group with about, it's not as large. I'm guessing between maybe 6 and 10,000 members.
Well, there's a lot less of us.
Yeah, but in group. So, but I mean, there's deals running through there. But I'll put a link in the chat so you can find
Please
it.
do.
I'll put one link that covers all the groups so you can just pick and choose, and then I'll put another one in the chat where it shows just the one to commercial.
Yeah, no, I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Listen, I continue to believe that, community is important, and knowing who each other are and what they're doing is important. And you need relationships, you need networking. You never know where somebody on this call can assist you with what's coming next. So this is where we create that. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Nick, you've got my email address, correct? eric.clark@expcommercial.com.
Yeah.
You can reach me anytime on my mobile, 770-878-7334. 770-878-7334.
Gotcha.
And I'm short on time today, so we've got a small group. Just want to say hello. Mercedes, keep me posted for corners that you find that could be built for a C-store. I've got a developer. If you're seeing something in your market, that's a market where I would have somebody of interest. I know that's not necessarily especially, but if you see it, let me know because they're specifically looking in your area.
For retail, you're saying for like what? What are they for?
C-store, where they can build a C-store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he put the website. Okay, grand. Okay, here we go. All right, so Florida, they're interested in Florida?
Central Florida, that's where they're
Central
looking,
Florida.
all throughout Central Florida. Yeah.
All right, so they're looking to add like a up like to value for the property. They're looking for something that they're going to,
Add
like
value.
hands-on.
Yeah. Naked property, they can take it up, 2 to 3 acres, maybe 4 acres, but put in a nice C-store and take it to market.
Okay.
So something like that comes across your desk, I've got a buyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reach out.
Rich, I'll continue to keep you posted if I see anything on off market. And anybody need anything here in Atlanta, or you're coming to Atlanta, give me a call. We'll get a coffee, get a lunch, get a dinner. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and Eric, along those lines for Nick's, because Mercedes does a great job in just working asset class. Specialize, find out which asset class you want to work. If it's business brokerage, which it sounds like Nick for you, because you'd sell in restaurants, it's a great place to be, especially now. But specialize in that because it's really hard to be all things to all people. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see too with a lot of brokers is they want to be all things to all people. You can't. You got to specialize because so much information, so much data that you need to incorporate so that you can give that kind of information to your clients. And information is power. And when you speak to a client and you understand the market conditions and you understand the valuations, that's your value. That's what you bring to the table. That's when they say, yeah, I want to do business with that person because they know what they're talking about. So that's just it sounds like you headed in that direction. We got some great folks. I don't know if you know Earl Kemper. Nick, I would strongly recommend you reach out to a guy like Earl. The guy's been doing it 1,000 years. He's terrific. And business brokerage is all he does. So just my 2 cents worth.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
excellent.
well, I just want to add to that really quickly. One of the great things of EXP, at least from my experience, is the network and the referral business and partnership. So it goes back to what you're saying, Rich. I don't think it's smart to start, like covering different property types, but you don't need to do that. But as long as you can partner up or, so try to grow your referral network as well and partnering network, because you shouldn't shy away from any property, especially with a network within EXP. I like to learn a lot. So, from any property, I try not to shy away, but everything takes time. So I usually try to partner up with someone that has that specialty, and so I can learn as well if I bring the deal. So, but I've transacted in all different types, and it's been a good ride for me. Referral and partnering up is key.
Gotcha.
Yeah, those are nice drips in the pipeline, aren't they? Referrals. We'll
The what?
welcome them.
Okay.
Well, Carson's joined us from the Nashville area. Carson, he does some multifamily. He came from an energy background. Carson, needs or wants, as we're going to be wrapping up the call here in the next 4 or 5 minutes. So you jumped on late.
Oh
You want to
boy.
say hello?
Hey everybody. Hey Rich. How are y'all doing? I don't know. I just got some listings, so busy putting those together. So I'll need help selling them after I go get some pictures. So anyway,
You do a good job of your marketing.
well, I try.
You do.
It's not easy, so
Yeah, you put nice packages together.
Yeah, I got some old factories that I'm doing with Chris McGee in Memphis. Maybe converting to industrial outdoor storage or possibly data center. I don't know. We'll see. See where it goes. Anyway, excited, but it'll be a lot of work like anything. So
I'm sure we'll have a conversation about that.
I'm more excited about a recruit I got. I was hoping he'd be on the call. I emailed him your link to the huddle.
I saw it. Super sharp.
Yeah.
He's really a great guy. You want
Yeah.
to get him to connected with Chris Socklavin as well.
Yeah, that's one of my first recruits. So, does Chris, do you have a lot of recruits, man?
Are you talking about downline?
Yeah,
I think my guess is only 25 to 30 in that range.
yeah.
So, but it's growing, But
That's like a year later to me. I just got my first one, so
well, I'm small potatoes compared to a lot of friends.
I know.
You know,
Yeah, I'm no Tom Trung, but it starts with one. And then after that it goes from there. So anyway.
well, yeah, but you go back in time, I don't know how many years it was, but Tom Trung only had one. So
Yeah.
he just didn't quit.
Just kept going. So
Well,
he's passionate though. He shows up and he works. So anyway.
Listen, here within this group, if you hear of something, I don't do, there's certain things I don't do, but when it comes across my desk, because of this group, I know who to take it to. So that's a powerful thing. And that goes to the referral that Mercedes was talking about. So don't lose sight of that opportunity. Be a good listener to what's in front of you. You may be able to connect it to somebody who's in this group. So with that, I want to let us go right at the bottom of the hour and look forward to seeing you soon. Nick, if you need to follow it, feel free to shout my way. But I hope
Will do.
everybody has a great day. And to the dads, I hope you had a good day yesterday.